All right, so you're out there trying to keep up with everything happening in crypto and blockchain.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot to keep track of, right?
It really is.
Feel like a full-time job sometimes, just trying to stay informed.
Absolutely.
So that's exactly why we're here,
Yeah, we're diving deep for you.
cutting through all that noise to bring you the insights that actually matter.
Think of this as like your cheat sheet
Right.
to understanding what's going on.
Exactly what's shifting, what's moving and shaking in the digital world.
Yeah, particularly around a specific date, actually.
Oh, yeah.
April 2nd, 2025.
Okay, so we're zeroing in on this date
We are.
for a reason.
Yeah.
What's so special about April 2nd, 2025?
Well, we've got a bunch of events all kind of converging around this time.
Okay.
And they paint a really interesting picture of where things might be headed.
All right, I'm intrigued. Lay it on me.
So today we're going to be digging into a few things.
Okay.
First, new U.S. tariffs.
Oh, boy.
Some are calling this Liberation Day. Then we got some big changes happening with U.S. regulators.
Huh?
The SEC and CFTC are kind of changing their tune on cryptocurrency.
Interesting.
And there's this new Android malware out there.
Oh, no, not malware.
Yeah, it's targeting crypto wallets specifically.
Ugh, that's always a concern.
Definitely.
What else?
We've also got some familiar faces
Okay.
stepping into the Bitcoin mining scene.
Oh, wow. This is getting juicy. All right. What else is on the docket?
And lastly, some interesting stuff happening over in the UAE and Saudi Arabia,
Yeah.
all around stablecoins and how AI is being used in media.
Wow, so we're covering a lot of ground today. We've got our work cut out for us.
We do.
All right, so where are we pulling all this information from? What are our sources today?
We've got a fresh analysis of the crypto market and related news,
Okay.
all from around April 2nd, 2025.
So a real snapshot of this moment in time.
Exactly.
Okay, so our mission today
Our mission.
is to connect the dots for our listeners.
To show them how all these seemingly separate pieces of information actually fit together.
And what they might mean for the future.
Exactly.
Love it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's jump in.
Let's do it.
So first up, these new U.S. tariffs.
Okay.
April 2nd, 2025 is being called Liberation Day because of them.
Right.
That's quite a statement.
It is.
So these tariffs are now in effect under President Trump.
That's right.
Now, what's interesting here is the take from our analysis by Blockchain DXB.mp3.
Yeah.
The analyst there actually thinks these tariffs are going to have a positive effect on the U.S. economy.
Which is not what you typically hear.
No, definitely a different perspective.
Yeah, it goes against the grain a bit.
For sure. So what's his reasoning? Why does he think this will be a good thing?
Well, he suggests we keep an eye on the dollar's value
Okay.
starting April 3rd.
So right after these tariffs take effect.
Exactly. He says that's when we'll start to see the real impact in dollar terms.
All right, so how does he connect this to Bitcoin and crypto?
His argument is that this positive economic impact from the tariffs will contribute to an upward trend for Bitcoin and crypto prices.
Interesting. So like a rising tide lifts all boats kind of thing.
Yeah, but it also makes you think about how these tariffs could shift investment behavior.
Right. Like maybe investors will start to see crypto differently.
As a sort of safe haven asset.
Or a hedge against traditional markets.
Exactly.
So beyond just price movements,
Yeah.
it's about how these tariffs could reshape the whole financial landscape.
It's a much bigger picture.
Absolutely.
Oh.
Okay, so let's zoom out a bit
Okay.
and talk about the bigger strategy behind these tariffs.
So the analysis highlights something important.
Okay.
President Trump's approach here
Uh-huh.
is reportedly focused on reciprocal tariffs.
So what does that mean exactly? Reciprocal tariffs.
It means the U.S. is putting tariffs on goods from countries that have tariffs on U.S. goods.
So it's like a tit for tat kind of thing.
Exactly. It's about creating a more balanced trade environment.
Not just protectionism for the sake of it.
Right.
Now here's a number that really caught my eye. Over $5 trillion
Wow.
in investments are supposedly flowing into the U.S. because of these tariffs.
That's massive.
Right. It's a huge influx of capital.
It is.
And the analyst points out that this positive news might not be getting as much attention
Yeah.
as some of the potentially negative narratives out there.
It's interesting how different outlets frame these events
It really is. It makes you wonder about where we're getting our information from.
and whose interests are being served.
Exactly. So it's always crucial to be critical of the information we consume
Absolutely.
and to seek out diverse perspectives.
The analyst actually gives some good advice here.
Okay, what's that?
He encourages everyone to go straight to the source
Okay.
to check out the White House website
Okay.
for official details on these tariffs.
That's a great reminder to always try to get information directly from the source.
especially when it comes to policies that can have such a big impact on markets.
Absolutely. Okay, so just to recap the chain of thought here,
Yeah.
is that these tariffs
Yes.
could boost the U.S. economy,
Okay.
and that this positive economic momentum,
Yeah.
combined with all this investment coming in, could create a really favorable climate for Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies.
And potentially drive their prices higher.
Right. So now let's switch gears
Okay.
and talk about the regulatory landscape in the U.S.,
Sounds good.
specifically what's going on with the SEC and CFTC.
All right.
So there's news of a new SEC commissioner, HP,
Okay.
and HP has laid out this 7-point plan
Okay.
that seems to point towards deregulation in the crypto space.
Interesting.
Now, what stands out to me about this plan is how comprehensive it is.
Yeah, it's not just tinkering around the edges.
No, it's addressing some really key areas that have been sticking points in crypto regulation for a while.
So what's the first point?
The first point is no new agency.
Okay.
So instead of creating another regulatory body,
Right.
the idea is to empower the existing SEC and CFTC to oversee crypto.
So streamline things. There.
Exactly. Avoid adding another layer of bureaucracy.
Makes sense.
Point number 2 is limit new statutes,
Okay.
which means focusing new laws specifically on platforms that operate in or target the U.S.
So not trying to overreach and regulate activities happening outside of U.S. jurisdiction.
Exactly. That's been a criticism of some past regulations.
For sure.
Then there's federal preemption.
Okay, now this one might need a little explaining.
Yeah, for those who aren't legal experts,
Right.
it essentially means that federal law would take precedence over state laws when it comes to crypto and interstate commerce.
So a uniform set of rules across state lines.
Exactly, which is huge because the current patchwork of state regulations has been a real headache for crypto businesses.
Yeah, trying to comply with different rules in different states.
It's a nightmare.
So this would simplify things considerably.
Right, okay. Point number 4 is clear agency oversight,
All right.
which basically means assigning specific types of crypto assets to either the SEC or the CFTC.
So finally, answering the question of whether something is a security or a commodity.
Right, no more regulatory limbo.
That would be a huge win for clarity.
Absolutely. And then point number 5 is a big one.
Okay, I'm listening.
It's a legal grant for crypto trading.
Meaning?
It means allowing platforms to trade both security and non-security crypto assets under the oversight of either the SEC or the CFTC.
So basically allowing for integrated crypto marketplaces.
Exactly.
Where you don't have this forced separation between platforms dealing with different types of assets.
Chuck, that could really unlock a lot of potential for the industry.
Yeah, more liquidity, more efficiency.
Right. Point number 6 is applying traditional market principles,
Okay.
which suggests regulating crypto trading platforms similar to how alternative trading systems are regulated in traditional markets.
So bringing crypto more in line with existing financial framework.
Exactly, which could give it more legitimacy in the eyes of some.
And the final point.
Point number 7 is all about protecting peer-to-peer transactions.
So preserving that direct interaction between individuals.
Exactly, without unnecessary intermediary control or surveillance.
A core principle of the crypto ethos.
For sure. So taking a step back,
Okay.
the analyst from blockchain DXB.mp3 sees this 7-point framework as a very positive step.
Especially compared to some of the previous approaches to crypto regulation.
Right, which were often seen as hindering innovation and growth.
Exactly. This seems like a more balanced approach.
Yeah, now it's not just the SEC that's changing its tune.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the CFTC is also reportedly pulling back on some of its regulations.
Interesting. So what have they done?
They've withdrawn 2 crypto-related advisories,
Okay.
citing the growth of the market and a belief in regulatory fairness under the current administration.
So what were these advisories about?
One was from 2018,
Okay.
which gave guidelines on how firms should report on crypto derivatives.
Okay.
And the other was from 2023,
Uh-huh.
and it focused on the risks associated with clearing digital assets.
I see.
So their reasoning for withdrawing these advisories
Yeah.
is to better align the regulation of crypto derivatives with traditional derivatives.
So streamlining the regulatory landscape.
Exactly. And it's being described as a move away from what some called regulation by enforcement.
Okay, what does that mean?
It means that instead of setting clear rules up front,
Yeah.
regulators were often establishing those rules through enforcement actions after the fact.
Ah, I see. So this could create a lot of uncertainty for businesses.
Exactly. They didn't always know what the rules were until they got in trouble.
Right. So the shift away from regulation by enforcement could be a good thing?
Yeah, there are several potential benefits here.
Like what?
First, it could provide much greater regulatory clarity.
Okay.
especially for businesses operating in the crypto derivative space.
So less ambiguity, less uncertainty.
Right.
What else?
Second, it suggests a move towards fairer market treatment,
Meaning?
addressing concerns that past policies might have created an uneven playing field.
Okay.
Third, reduced bureaucracy,
Which usually means?
more efficient processes, less red tape.
Love it.
Fourth, it could encourage more innovation in the crypto derivatives sector.
Because there's less regulatory burden.
Exactly. And finally, it might reduce the risk of enforcement actions.
Yeah, because the rules are clearer now.
Right. So that's a lot of potential upsides.
It seems like the regulatory climate for crypto in the U.S. is undergoing a pretty significant shift.
Yeah, it's definitely a dynamic situation to watch.
Now, amidst all this potential good news,
Yeah.
there's also a concerning development.
Oh no, what is it?
The analyst mentioned a new Android malware.
Oof, not malware.
Yeah, and this one specifically targets cryptocurrency wallets.
Of course it does.
It's called Crocodilius.
Crocodilius. That sounds ominous.
It does really.
So what do we know about this malware so far?
Well, it seems to be primarily targeting users in Turkey and Spain at the moment,
Okay.
but its technical capabilities are pretty advanced.
So it could spread further.
Yeah, definitely a potential global threat.
Okay, so what does this Crocodilius malware actually do?
It can do a lot of damage.
Okay, like what?
It can remotely control infected devices.
So someone's essentially taking over your phone.
Exactly, and it uses black screen overlays to trick users.
How does that work?
They make it look like you're interacting with a legitimate app.
Okay.
They're actually stealing your login credentials.
Snaky.
And it also employs various data harvesting techniques.
All with the goal of stealing your wallet's seed phrase.
That's right, the keys to the kingdom.
And of course, it disguises itself as legitimate crypto-related apps.
Yeah, trying to blend in.
So you might not even realize you've downloaded something malicious.
Exactly. And it uses social engineering tactics, too.
Like what?
Like displaying fake warnings,
Okay.
urging users to back up their seed phrases within a very short time frame.
Creating a sense of urgency.
Yeah, like you only have 12 hours or something.
So you panic and make a mistake.
Exactly.
Now, the technical details of this malware sound really sophisticated.
They are. It's quite advanced.
Like how?
Well, it can bypass security features in Android 13
Oh, right.
and even Google's Play Protect.
Wow, so even
Yeah.
those safeguards aren't foolproof.
No.
And it can gain accessibility service permissions.
Which gives it a lot of control over your device.
A lot of control. And it can deploy those fake overlay screens to capture your logins, intercept passwords.
And it acts as a RAT.
Right?
Yeah, a remote access Trojan.
Oh, wow.
Which means attackers can basically take complete control of your phone.
See everything you're doing.
Take screenshots.
Bypass two-factor authentication.
It's a serious breach of security.
It is.
So how is this malware being spread?
Through all the usual channels.
Okay, like what?
Malicious websites.
Uh-huh.
Social media scams.
Okay.
Fake promotions.
So be wary of anything that sounds too good to be true.
Definitely deceptive text messages.
Okay.
And third-party app stores.
So the advice to stick to the official Google Play Store is more important than ever.
Absolutely. And avoid installing APK files from sources you don't trust.
Right now, the analysts suggest that because of how advanced this Crocodilius malware is...
It could become a major player in the malware as a service market.
Oh, wow. So criminals could be selling this to each other.
Exactly, which is a really concerning outlook for mobile crypto security.
It is. It highlights the constant need for vigilance in the crypto space.
For sure, both on the regulatory front
Yeah.
and in terms of our own cybersecurity practices.
Now let's move on to something a little lighter.
Okay, good, because I need a break from all this malware talk.
Yeah. This is kind of a curveball.
Hit me.
Donald Trump's sons, Eric and Donald Trump Jr.,
Okay.
are reportedly getting into the Bitcoin mining business.
No way, really.
Yeah, they've launched a new venture called American Bitcoin.
American Bitcoin.
Wow. And they've partnered with a company called Hartech,
Hardtech.
which is now rebranding itself as American Bitcoin.
I see, so it's like a joint venture.
Exactly. And this new entity is specifically focused on Bitcoin mining operations
Okay.
and building a strategic reserve of Bitcoin.
Interesting. So what role does Hardtech play in all this?
They've already contributed a bunch of their ASIC miners.
ASIC miners.
Yeah, these are specialized computers designed for Bitcoin mining.
Okay.
And they've contributed these miners to American data centers.
Okay.
And they'll continue to provide infrastructure and operational support under long-term agreements.
So it sounds like a pretty serious commitment.
It does.
So what's the stated goal of this American Bitcoin venture?
To streamline operations.
Okay.
and boost growth in the Bitcoin mining sector here in the U.S.
So they're aiming to make a big splash.
They are, and it'll be interesting to see what impact their entry has on the industry.
Yeah. And maybe even on broader perceptions of Bitcoin.
It could definitely bring in a different demographic of investors.
For sure. People who align with their political views.
Exactly. All right, let's shift our focus now
Okay.
to the Middle East,
Okay.
specifically the UAE and Saudi Arabia.
Sounds good.
So first up, Sony Labs in the UAE.
Okay.
They're changing their strategy when it comes to stablecoins.
Interesting. So what were they doing before?
They were initially planning to launch an algorithmically backed USD stablecoin,
Okay.
but they've pivoted
To what?
a mathematically bound numerical DAM.
Damn.
Yeah, it stands for Digital Asset Monetary Unit.
Okay, so what's the difference between an algorithmic stablecoin and this damn thing?
Well, an algorithmic stablecoin tries to maintain its peg to a fiat currency,
Okay, like the US dollar.
right through algorithms and smart contracts.
Okay.
But this DAM is mathematically bound.
Meaning?
It's likely backed by a more traditional reserve mechanism.
Okay, so more like a traditional stablecoin.
Yeah, but denominated in US dollars.
I see. So this is a pretty significant change in direction.
It is, and it seems to be tied to the UAE's own plans
Okay.
to launch a digital DAM in Q4 of 2025.
So Sony Labs is aligning with the national digital currency strategy,
Exactly.
maybe even positioning themselves to play a key role in that ecosystem.
It's a smart move.
Now, the analyst mentioned that the UAE central bank has been very active in the digital currency space.
Yeah.
They recently unveiled a new symbol for their national currency,
Okay.
and they've outlined their plans for a digital currency.
Interesting. And what's their approach?
They're actually making a distinction between two types of digital currency.
Okay, what are they?
First, a central bank digital currency,
Okay.
or CBDC,
Uh-huh.
which is focused on financial stability and combating financial crime.
So like a digital version of their existing currency.
Exactly, the dirham.
Okay. And the second type?
It's called the digital Dubai token.
Digital Dubai token.
Yeah, and this one seems to be geared towards enabling new applications,
Like what?
like asset tokenization
Okay.
and the use of smart contracts.
So more focused on innovation and new financial services.
Exactly.
That's an interesting approach, having two separate digital currencies with different purposes.
It's now, the analyst also mentioned that there will be a dedicated deep dive into this UAE digital dam in a future episode.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that one.
Me too.
Yeah.
He also briefly touched on the criticism that algorithmic stablecoins have faced.
Oh, yeah, especially after the collapse of Terra Luna.
Right, that event really shook things up.
It did. It made people realize the risks involved.
For sure. And it seems like that event might have made influential figures in the crypto space,
Okay.
like Andre Cronje,
Uh-huh.
wary of purely algorithmic models.
So this move by Sony Labs
Yeah.
to a mathematically bound dam
Right.
suggests that they've learned from those past failures.
Absolutely. And they're looking for more robust and reliable solutions.
Now let's hop over to Saudi Arabia,
Okay.
where there's an interesting partnership happening.
Between
MRC Saudi and Aspectus.
MRC Saudi and Aspectus. Okay. What are they up to?
They're teaming up to enhance media analytics and advertising in Saudi Arabia
Using
artificial intelligence.
AI in media. That sounds fascinating.
It is.
So what's the goal of this partnership?
To give advertisers, media agencies, and content creators
Okay.
much deeper insights into their target audiences.
Hmm.
More efficient ways to analyze media consumption patterns
Yeah.
and ultimately improve metrics for measuring audience engagement.
So using AI to really understand how people are consuming media,
Exactly.
and then using that information to create more effective advertising campaigns.
Precisely.
Now, what's really interesting is the 5 key pillars that underpin this partnership.
Okay, let's hear them.
First, AI-driven scene and audience analytics.
So understanding not just what people are watching,
Yeah.
but how they're engaging with specific scenes.
Right down to the granular level.
Exactly.
Okay, what's pillar number 2?
Cross-platform measurement.
Okay.
So tracking how audiences are engaging with content across different platforms.
Like TV, digital channels, out-of-home advertising.
All of it.
So a unified view of media consumption.
Exactly.
Okay, pillar number 3.
Visual product placement, or VPPP.
VPPP. Okay. I'm intrigued. What is that?
It's using AI to seamlessly insert product placements into video content.
So instead of having a separate commercial break, you might see a product integrated into the show itself.
Exactly.
Wow, that's interesting.
It's a more subtle form of advertising.
Okay, what's the 4th pillar?
An emphasis on innovation in media analytics.
So developing new and better ways to analyze data.
Exactly. And the fifth pillar.
Alignment with Saudi Vision 2030.
Ah, so this is about supporting the kingdom's broader goals of digital transformation.
Exactly. It's not just about advertising.
No, it's about using AI to drive progress in the media sector as a whole.
And how will AI actually be used to achieve all this?
In a number of ways.
Okay, like what?
It will enable dynamic optimization of ad placement
Oh?
based on real-time behavioral data.
So showing you ads that are more likely to be relevant to you
Exactly.
based on what you're watching and how you're interacting with content.
Right.
What else?
It will also facilitate comprehensive tracking of audience engagement across all platforms.
So advertisers will have a much clearer picture of how your campaigns are performing.
Exactly.
Okay, anything else?
AI-powered virtual product placements.
Yeah, we talked about that.
This allows for more flexible and potentially less intrusive forms of advertising.
Right.
And finally, AI will be used to develop new ways to predict future trends in media consumption.
So knowing what people will want to watch before they even know it themselves.
Exactly. And this all aligns with Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030 goals.
Of fostering digital innovation and economic growth.
It does. It's a pretty ambitious plan.
It is. So it sounds like advertisers in Saudi Arabia can expect some big improvements in their campaigns.
Yeah, thanks to these real-time insights and the ability to place ads in more relevant contexts.
And the focus on AI-driven advertising that's more engaging and less disruptive.
Yeah, that's a key trend we're seeing across industries.
Using AI to create more personalized and valuable experiences.
Exactly.
So to wrap things up,
Okay.
it's clear that the crypto and blockchain space is constantly evolving.
It never stands still.
We've seen how potential shifts in U.S. economic policy through these tariffs could have ripple effects in the crypto market.
And how the regulatory landscape in the U.S. seems to be on the verge of some major changes.
Right, with the SEC and CFTC both signaling a new direction.
And let's not forget about the persistent security threats.
Yeah, that crocodilious malware is a serious concern.
It is. We need to stay vigilant.
Absolutely. And we're seeing new players entering the game.
Like Donald Trump's sons getting into Bitcoin mining.
Right. Who would have predicted that a few years ago?
And on the global stage, countries like the UAE and Saudi Arabia are really making strides in digital assets and AI.
It's an exciting time to be following this space.
It is. It's full of potential and challenges.
Absolutely. So here's a question for our listeners to ponder.
Okay, I like where this is going.
Considering all these simultaneous shifts,
Yeah.
economic policies, regulatory changes, technological advancements like AI, and even the involvement of political figures, what do you think is the single most influential factor that will shape the future of crypto and digital assets?
It's a tough question.
It is, but it's worth thinking about
Definitely.
how these different forces might interact and which ones will ultimately have the biggest impact.
And this deep dive is just the beginning.
Exactly. We encourage everyone to keep exploring these topics.
Stay curious. Stay informed.
Inform your own conclusions about the future of this fascinating space.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us.
And we'll see you next time.
See you later.